Duel Power is an amazing set, ladies and gentlemen, giving us 40 new cards to play with in the TCG. It actually changes the landscape of some of those underrated decks, making them a lot more powerful to compete against the meta. One would have to wonder, hey TheCaliEffect, what are those decks? Well, say no more, fam. That's exactly what this video is for. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. I also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Also, a mad shout out to our newest Patreon, Daniel Villa. Make sure you add yourself to the Discord, as well as message me or Jess so we can get you the top dog so you can take advantage of all your rewards. Without further ado, I present to you the top underrated decks for the April 2019 format. It's going to be really fun to talk about these decks. Before we get into those top underrated decks of the format, let's brush over the top decks of the format just to help us apply those certain weaknesses that the deck may have or a certain strength that the other rated decks may have against them. One of the best decks of the format is Salamangreat. It has this thing to be able to summon Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf, and gain tons of advantage. Its best cards have to go to Salamangreat, Roar, and Rage because these cards are searchable and they provide an adequate amount of disruption. The deck is also really good at playing either a ton of back row or hand traps. It's almost like a very small skeleton-like deck that can play a ton of one or the other, and possibly both if you wanted to be able to disrupt your opponent. Sky Striker is the exact same thing as it started. The ability to activate Mobilize Engage to not only search a Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand, but gain +1 advantage is crazy. You can bind that when it has a card in Sky Striker Widow Anchor to be able to Forbidden Chalice and mind control the opponent. That is even better. It also has Sky Striker multi-rolls, which for the people that have played Yu-Gi-Oh in 2019 or 2013 is a spellbook of judgment, allowing them to set those cards back to their side of the field, and in certain situations can lock the opponent out from responding to you. The last deck has to go to Thunder Dragon Danger. Now, Thunder Dragon in itself can be played as a pure build, but the Danger build seems to be more explosive because it can not only summon Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is the walking Thunder King Ryo that can protect itself, it also makes some big negates with number 22 Zombie Stein and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. All three of these decks have very good strengths, but we're going to expose those weaknesses in this top 5. Coming in hot at number 5 on this list, I wanted to give it to Spellcasters as an entirety, mainly because Spellbook Magician and Witchcrafter received some insane support or some secret support inside of Duel Power. It pales into comparison to the Dark Magician strategy. They received one powerful card I want to highlight, and it's the bond between teacher and student. Actually, they received more than one card, but I'm just going to talk about this one in particular. This card says, if you control the Dark Magician, spell summon one Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Then you can set one Dark Magic Attack, Dark Burning Attack, Dark Burning Magic, or Dark Magic Twin Burst directly from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. You can only activate this effect once per turn. Now, people are probably scratching their heads, why would I want to play Dark Magician Girl? Until you realize that Dark Magician deck is heavily reliant on summoning itself to the side of the field, which means that this card should always be live. Having access to a level 6 Spellcaster monster from anywhere, whether it's in your hand, deck, or graveyard, could be pivotal to the strategy pushing forward. A lot of the Dark Magician spell and trap cards need Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl to activate, and some cards just need 2 Spellcasters. Well, bond between teacher and student not only searches you a Dark Magician-like card, whether it's Dark Magic Attack to be a Harpy's Feather Duster, it also allows you to spell summon Dark Magician Girl to your side of the field. What application does Dark Magician have against the meta? Well, Thanos is a level 7 monster that plays nice with Dark Magician himself. You also have access to your Exceed 6 cards. Cards like Prophecyr, Crowley the Prophecyr allow you to play Spellbook in it. And then there's Quintet Magician, which is a terror against a lot of decks that can't get over a 4/5, 4/5 monster that can't be destroyed by card effects. Don't sleep on Dark Magician, ladies and gentlemen. It is really powerful. Not a lot of players like this deck, and to be honest with you guys, I can't fault you. I don't like playing solitaire with myself either. That's why Burn is normally not a strategy that people want to play against, and sometimes the decks that people want to play. It's pretty mindless, but I have to say, Trickstar is almost of that opposite. It's not just a burn deck, it's a control deck. You have Trickstar Light Stage to disrupt your opponent's back row, and then Trickstar Candina to search any of your cards. It's the heart and soul of the deck. Lycanroc allows you to bounce that Candina so you can have a constant source of a normal summon, and Lilybell can recur you resources from your graveyard. For disruption, you have Trickstar Reincarnation. Go ahead and banish your opponent's perfectly settled hand, that hand that they've always wanted, and force them to start over again. But if you combine it with Joel and Lockbird, your opponent won't have a hand at all. You guys already know this about Trickstar, and it struggles. It really struggles with Link summoning. The deck is a Link-based deck that has always relied on cards like Sky Striker, Mecha Hornet, Drones, or Scapegoats to provide big Link boards. But in Duel Power, we got another card to put Trickstar closer to not relying on other cards. Trickstar Magical Laurel says activate this card by targeting one Trickstar monster in your graveyard. Spell summon and equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. Once per turn, if the equipped monster inflicts battle or effect damage to your opponent, you can spell summon one Trickstar monster from your hand. You can only activate one Trickstar Magical Laurel once per turn. You guys are probably like, why do you want a glorified premature burial that's monster reborn? Well, Trickstar Candina can actually search Magical Laurel. And seeing that Candina can search so many cards inside of the deck, some of them are going to get into the graveyard. More often than not, they're going to be monsters. Trickstar Magical Laurel allows you to recur those monsters for practically free and use them for Link play. You combine that with Trickstar Coral Bane from Savage Strike, the deck actually has a lot more Link potential than it's ever had before. Don't sleep on Trickstars. Not only does it have the ability to whittle down your opponent when it comes to time, it has the ability to control the field in the very beginning points, but now it has more recursion and monster presence that it can put on the board to dominate your opponent. It's really good against almost every single deck. How do I explain number 3? Well, let's just start off by saying it. Dragon decks get a huge boost in Duel Power, and we can start talking about Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. It is a Link 2 monster that requires just 2 dragon monsters to summon to your side of the field. Its effect reads, once per turn, if this card is in the extra monster zone, quick effect, you contribute 1 monster on your hand or field, return 1 face-up card on the field to the hand. Not only is it a monster that activates its effect on your opponent's turn, which is typically really good, it can not only disrupt your opponent, it can also put cards back into your hand for later use. I really like this card. Also, its effect says, if this card is tributed, special summon 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck, but change its attack and defense to 0. You can only use this effect of Heretic Seal Heavenly Spheres once per turn. Try saying that card 5 times fast. Heretic Seal Heavenly Spheres. Heretic Seal Heavenly Spheres. I can't even say it, but this card just does so much for Dragon decks. If you look at the database, Dragon decks don't have a lot of great Link 2s. This is probably the best Link 2 because it can allow you to search a dragon monster when it's tributed and spell summon it to your side of the field. The attack and defense reduction doesn't really mean much because summoning monsters like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon in this type of format is just way too insane. Also, looking at Heavenly Spheres, it actually has the 2 Link arrows pointing diagonally, which could come up in a lot of situations. If I can recall correctly, we don't have a Link 2 dragon monster that points diagonally like Heavenly Spheres. We don't even have a Link 2 dragon monster that has 2 arrows pointing down other than Saryuja, if I can recall correctly. Heavenly Spheres is going to boost so many dragon decks, from Blue Eyes, to Red Eyes, to Unity, to Heretics themselves. It does so much for dragon decks as a total, so you can't count any of them out. They're all sleepers. There are so many decks that I wanted to put inside of this video. Unfortunately, it would have not only made it bigger than a top 5, it also wouldn't have kept up with the Duel Power theme, but this deck is actually really good and still falls into the Duel Power theme in its Galaxy Photon. Now, you guys thought about staring down a Cyber Dragon Infinity or a number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord was scary? Imagine staring down a Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord that can actually search your opponent cards, attach Galaxy cards, and gain its full abilities. And the deck actually does gain a lot of support through Duel Power, and it's only through 1 card. card. That card being Photon Advancer. Now, Photon Advancer is a level 4 monster with 1000 attack and 1000 defense, and its effect reads, if a Photon monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon one Photon Advancer once per turn. If another Photon monster is on the field, this card gains 1000 attack. You guys are probably scratching your head like, that's not, it's, first of all, this card is a light warrior monster, so it can be searchable by reinforcement of the army, and it's also a light monster, so Hippo Shinigami and the Galaxy Link come into play. It's also a free extender to your side of the field, like, woo! Free monsters, this is exactly what the deck needed, just having another extender to make either a rank 4 monster, a link monster, or whatever you want. Being able to make those huge galaxy monsters, whether it's the Cypher Dragon to snatch your opponent's monster, the Photon Lord to negate their cards, or even Dark Matter, because the deck can still make Dark Matter and force your opponent to banish cards from their main deck. This deck should not be slept on. Don't sleep on those galaxy cards. This deck is too strong. Okay, so number 1 on this list is Battling Boxer. Nothing can stop the deck. It just punches your opponent out. It's like Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather if they ever did the Fusion Ha and then, you know, started fighting people. Yeah, definitely. Okay, no, it's nowhere near good. Don't buy the hype. I know they're like skyrocketing in price because of my videos, but don't buy the hype. Number 1 on this list, or before we get to number 1 on this list, I have to say there are quite a few honorable mentions. Strategies that I really wanted to put in this list, but then if I did, it wouldn't be a top 5, now wouldn't it? Strategies such as Prank Kids, Synchro, ABC, Evil Eye, Dino, Infinite Track, and Witchcrafter are all decks that come into mind when it comes to underrated. Now, I want you guys to post down below in the comment section, if you can, your top 5, or maybe some strategies that I probably should have mentioned. Number 1 on this list is the most expensive card in Duel Power that's not a reprint. Cyber Dragon got a huge boost with Cyber Dragon Nashter, and I'm pretty sure I can say its effects verbatim. It activates by discarding one monster in your hand, and then when it is special summoned or normal summoned, you can special summon a monster with 2400 attack or 2100 defense to your side of the field. The only drawback is that you can't summon for the rest of the turn or summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn unless it is a machine monster. Now, Nashter is really good for Cyber Dragons. It also works for other machine decks like Infinite Track, but it's really good for Cyber Dragons. It's another machine duplication target, it's another 1-for-1 target, and it's just getting you free monsters to your side of the field. Cyber Dragons have already been an underrated deck, making Nightmare Griffin, the Cyber Dragon Siger, and as well as being able to Cyber Dragon Infinity your opponent all in your main monster zone. Basically what Nashter does is allow you to extend more combos, bring out more monsters like Cyber Dragon Infinity with ease. If you guys actually paid attention, this card can bring out your Lynx and your Xyz monsters from your graveyard, as well as some of your fusions. The card is insane, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and if you didn't, let us know in the comment section what we could do to be better. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day, like I am.